see some people with some very odd physiques. Sit back, my friends, relax, my friends, the show is quite informal. Cause when you see these folks, you will be grateful that you're normal. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the house of freaks. Let's bring out the strangest folks you've seen in weeks. Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. Where have you been? It's alright, we know where you've been. You've been in the pipeline, filling in time. Provided with toys, scouted for boys. You bought a guitar to punish your mom. You didn't like school, and you know you're nobody's fool. So welcome, welcome to the machine.
All Freemasons meet as equals, and we have an opportunity to create a nation in the very essence of Masonic morality. It would be wonderfully symbolic, don't you think?
You'll be wanting to put the all-seeing eye on our banknotes next.
You think I'm taking it a bit far?
Please don't ask me questions like that, Brother Franklin. You know I cannot tell a lie.
Oh, come on, Brother Washington. Everybody lies occasionally, surely, especially politicians.
Not me. Not even so much as an alternative fact.
But we must all be aware of fake news.
The people must be free to think what they like as well. We can have no thought police in our new society. The foundation stone of our new nation built on all those principles that we hold dear.
The plans for our new capital city already have a very Masonic feel to them, yeah.
Candidate for initiation into the order, I'm giving him a little introduction into some of our mysteries. These two gentlemen are founding an entire nation built on our principles.
We have great promises for our new nation. You know, I wonder if other presidents after me will also be Freemasons.
Many will be. And Freemasonry will become embedded in the American culture. And the eye will appear on the banknotes.
Oh, God.
These principles will be honored with a gift from your French brethren. A gift that will be a welcoming beacon to the poor and oppressed.
This is the statue we are giving you.
It's a bit small, isn't it?
Oh, this is a maquette. The real thing is bigger. Much, much bigger. I call her Liberty Enlightening the World.
Catchy.
America will produce a great many great Americans from many different walks of life and many different fields, and many will be Masons. Sportsmen, actors, writers, soldiers, filmmakers, businessmen, inventors, astronauts.
What on earth is an astronaut?
No, they're not.
I don't follow.
Well, they're not on Earth, they're in space. In fact, Brother Buzz Aldrin was the second man to walk upon the surface of the moon.
That's the best thing I've heard this evening.
What, that a Mason walked on the moon?
Man on the moon. Amazing. But don't forget the musicians. Do not forget the musicians.
Known as that rule of three again. The 3 degrees.
Freemasonry has burned as a blazing fire through the last 3 centuries.
As permanent master of these 3 lodges, I now call on my deputy masters.
Most worshipful Grand Master, on behalf of the Brethren of Royal Somerset House,
Most worshipful Grand Master,
our ceremonies and forever remind us of our incomparable heritage, the birth of organized Freemasonry,
stressing the deep and sincere loyalty and affection felt by the Brethren of the United Grand Lodge of England for their Grand Master.
We leave the Royal Albert Hall even more proud of our ancient institution.
Most worshipful Grand Master, I humbly ask you to complete the initiation of this worthy candidate for Freemasonry.
Recently, an artist named Mitch O'Connell put up a Trump billboard with some art that he had made for the 1988 film cult classic They Live. And it was put up in Mexico City because it was denied in several US cities. And I'm probably going to do another video about that in the future. But it helped me realize that I needed to do a video about what I believe is an infiltration of the human race. So I thought, what better way than to use this wonderful, awesome movie? So here we go. John Carpenter's cult classic film They Live is probably one of the most fascinating alien takeover films of all time. It stars Rowdy Roddy Piper, who is a man who, when he puts on these special sunglasses, he can see the subliminal messages that are being frequency driven into our minds and keep us dumbed down and not having any individual thought so that we stay asleep and they can continue infiltrating us.
Basically, what our spin on the story was that all the aliens are members of the upper class, the rich, and they're slowly exploiting the middle class, and everybody's becoming poorer, and everything we think about buying cars and having pools and condos and all the things that everybody strives for basically are created by this race of inhuman creatures that really just want to exploit us.
I feel like more than that, in today's society, our systems are not just broken, they're designed to fail. Our system of education does not educate. In fact, it teaches us authority. Our healthcare makes us broke, doesn't make us healthy. Our water is poisoned. It's got fluoride in it. Our food is being turned into GMO, and they've killed the farming systems. Our air is being polluted. There's nothing that is okay about that. And it's not just, oh, we let it get out of hand. I think it's something deeper. And I think John Carpenter tapped into it in They Live.
Maybe they've always been with us. Those things out there. Maybe they love it. Seeing us hate each other. Watching us kill each other off.
The world needs a wake-up call. We're gonna phone it in.
What do these things want, and why are they here?
They want benign indifference. They want us drugged. We could be pets. We could be food. But all we really are is livestock.
And we really are considered livestock, or just as important as livestock anyway, according to the UN and other agenda-having factions. And various rich folks, elite, if you will, have been talking about overpopulation and mass genocide of the planet for a long time. It's not a secret. So let's watch this scene. This is the first time he puts on the glasses in They Live, and it says obey. Of course, when he takes them off, it just has a computer advertisement. And it's actually very telling. It says we're creating the transparent computing environment, and it's by a place called Control Data. Truth Stream Media has a great bit about this part, but let's move on. Doesn't really make sense to a lot of people. Why would it say obey? You know, no independent thought, and then consume. These words continue throughout the movie. Now let me show you this. So what you're about to see is an actual broadcast of a sign-off, a station sign-off from the 1960s. And it's been subtitled, but you'll see the subtitles are just helping you read the text that is rearranging. It's one of the better known subliminal messages that's ever been found. So that was an actual station sign-off from the 1960s that was played every single night that everyone basically watched before they went to bed. My question is this: how did they know the efficacy of that sort of subliminal messaging? It was obviously intentional. The obey, consume, government, God business. It was very cryptic, but it was also very simple. All of that suggests a higher understanding, a far sophisticated knowledge of how we intake information, how well words passing over images like that would affect us, how deeply it would be rooted. That suggests an understanding of manipulation of consciousness.
How many of you will remember a movie from way back in 1976 called Logan's Run? Now, I was barely in existence when this movie came out. I was only a 2-year-old boy, but the reason why I am doing a video on a movie that is decades old is for the main purpose to prove to you yet again that the same themes that we are seeing in movies of today are the very same themes that have been shown for decades, time and time again. And Logan's Run is no exception to the same kind of predictive programming, a complete dystopian New World Order scenario that is taking place. Yet again, there's been destruction. Yet again, they talk about depopulation. Yet again, they talk about population control, and people are only allowed to live until a certain age. And basically, everyone is being controlled by a technocratic society, totally a beast system, if you ask me. And again, this is from 1976, and I'm sorry that I didn't have any clips to show at the beginning or any trailers or anything like that. I tried to download something to be able to include with this video, but the footage on YouTube was just too old. I could not download it, so I apologize for not being able to show any actual video footage or trailers from this old movie. But to me, this is really a follow-up video to the video I did recently on that movie, The Thinning. It was on YouTube Red. Again, complete depopulation, Agenda 21/2030 agenda being shown in that movie, where the students had to take a test and if they didn't pass the test, no matter what grade you were in, you were thinned out or sent to something called the thinning. So again, depopulation agenda, this complete Luciferian lunacy that is being propagated in many of these movies. And another reason I'm doing this video on Logan's Run is thanks to a great comment by a YouTuber who goes by the name of Asanath7766. I really want to thank her for pointing out Logan's Run. She really claimed that this movie was very similar to The Thinning, and I really want to thank her for that, because as I looked into Logan's Run, she was right. It really did make sense as to the connections that are there. The same kinds of depopulation theme, war, all this kind of propaganda that has been shown to us over and over again for decades, and this has been going on for a very long time. So just in the promo or the poster of this movie, it says, "Welcome to the 23rd century." So there you got the good old 23 right in your face. You know, we see this 23 all the time. Many of you recall Jim Carrey's movie 23, and how many times we see the 23 or 923 in so many different movies and TV shows. And it's a real Luciferian number. If you ask me, I believe the 2-3 can represent the 6. If you multiply 2 times 3, you get 6. I believe it's a representation of the devil's number or man's number, 666. It also can be a representation of the 5th age, 2 and 3 equal to 5. And basically, this whole dystopian world is all about what they want people to believe, a perfect world of total pleasure. But there's just one catch. So we will see what that catch is, but a lot of stuff in this movie. I will try not to be too long in this video. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't get any footage from YouTube. The clips were just too old to download, but according to IMDb, this movie takes place in the year 2274. Now again, right there, the fact that it's taking place in 2274, can you see the 11-11-11 right there in that year? Because the 22 obviously is 11-11, and 7-4 also add up to 11. So we've spoken before about the problem, reaction, solution, 11-11-11, where the elites generate the problem, which causes the reaction in the general public, and of course they bring about their already pre-planned solution. And possibly this movie is showing the whole scenario where their beast system, their technocratic society is in place already. All right, but it says that, and it's 2274, and on the surface it all seems to be an idyllic society, living in a city within an enclosed dome. Now, these are things as we go through what this movie is all about. Actually, if I go to Wikipedia, it talks about the same thing. So let's go to Wikipedia and show the plot. And I'm going to follow this this Wikipedia plot summary right here and go through some other articles and pictures from the movie that I'd like to show you. But again, it's the year 2274. The remnants of a human civilization live in a sealed city contained beneath a cluster of geodesic domes, a utopia run by a computer that takes care of all aspects of their life, including reproduction. Okay, so, you know, again, this dome, what does that remind you of? Those of us who are awake to the flat earth, to the true cosmology of our world, this is something that is being shown over and over again. Many of you are aware of a particular TV show that is called Under the Dome. I believe this is a Stephen King novel or series. And again, they show this dome that appears over a certain city, like a dome of energy that keeps the city in it. So again, the flat earth model being shown over and over again. And we even see that right in the poster of Logan's Run. We see this rainbow kind of dome over the city, this technocratic city that they live in, very high class, or sorry, not high class, I should say, but high technologically advanced kind of city. Of course, this was back in the 70s, so they tried to make it look as futuristic as possible. So again, cryptically showing the dome firmament that is above us in the earth, and the same kind of thing that we have shown over and over again in this on this channel. The dome firmament, as God's word says right in Genesis 1:6, that God caused a domed firmament to separate the waters above from the waters below. Okay, so really we are being shown this on a regular basis, and this is just no surprise that they're showing the same kind of thing. So basically people are living in domed cities, and to me, again, another reference to the biblical cosmology of the earth, and I will show some or a little bit of that later on. But basically, even reproduction is controlled. I believe the babies in the movie are all they're grown. They're not really born anymore like regular human beings. Then it says the citizens leave a hedonistic or basically materialistic, pleasure-filled kind of life. But to maintain the city, everyone must undergo the ritual of carousel when they reach the age of 30. There, they are vaporized and ostensibly renewed. Okay, so to track this, each person is implanted at birth with a life clock crystal in the palm of their hand that changes color as they get older and begins blinking as they approach their last day. Most residents accept this promise of rebirth, so keep in mind rebirth, keep in mind this life clock crystal, okay? So they're being told that they're going to be renewed, this whole rebirth thing. Most residents accept this promise of rebirth, but to those who do not and attempt to flee the city, they are known as runners, an elite team of policemen known as Sandmen. Now, if you do some research on Sandmen, you'll see some very occultic connotations there, stuff to do with dreams and Lucifer and all that kind of thing. But look up Sandmen. I don't have time to go through that right now, but check out what Sandmen means in your own time. But they're outfitted predominantly in black uniforms and serving in an agency of the city called Deep Sleep, are assigned to pursue and terminate runners as they try to escape. So let's look at some of the stuff that was said right here in this plot. So basically how they live a hedonistic, pleasure-filled life, and they must undergo a ritual of carousel. So as we keep going here, we'll look at this this carousel and this whole thing. Now let's first talk about the crystal. So this crystal is placed in the palm of their hand right from birth. It's very interesting, you know, that these are right in the hand. It totally reminds me, which happens to be right in the right hand, of the mark of the beast that we have seen spoken about in the Bible right from Revelation 13. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and no one could buy or sell except the one who has the mark or the name or the number of the beast. So we are being shown that constantly in these TV shows and movies, this mark of the beast right in the hand. It's a crystal that that basically changes color as they go through life. When it gets to the red color, it means that they're approaching their last day, which is supposed to be 30. They're not allowed to live past 30, so their last day is when they reach the end of their 30th birthday. Okay, so interestingly enough, that crystal to me in their hand also reminds me of the lotus flower. It's basically in the shape of a flower, and the lotus flower has quite the symbolic meaning with the pagan religion. So from this article here, anybody who has observed a lotus flower emerging from a murky pond cannot fail to see the beauty of this exquisite plant. The flower always looks so clean and pure against the background of the dirty pond. Because of this, the lotus flower has come to be associated with purity and beauty in the religions of Buddhism and Hinduism, respectively. The ancient Egyptian scholars observed that in the nighttime, the lotus closed its flowers and sank into the water, and came up with a different association with the flower related to rebirth and the sun. Okay, so you've got rebirth and the sun. Basically, this is what the lotus flower represents: rebirth, reincarnation, sun god worship. Now the lotus flower itself obviously is a creation of Abba Yahweh, God Almighty, but of course the pagans like to take that, or Satan likes to take that and paganize it for his things. Okay, so basically if you go through this article, you'll see how it talks about rebirth and the sun, reincarnation. This is what this lotus flower means in the occult. So it's quite interesting, the fact that it symbolizes reincarnation, rebirth, and they're being told in this cult that basically controls this society that when they go to this ritual of carousel, that they are going to be vaporized and renewed. So they believe they're going to be reincarnated into something else. This is what is being propagated in this movie. Okay, so I find that really, really interesting. And the fact that the lotus flower means rebirth, that is no coincidence there. Here's the carousel ritual. So basically in the movie, you'll see, actually right close to the beginning of the movie, you'll see these people all gather into basically a stadium. And now you're not seeing the rest of the people who are watching this ritual go on, but the ones who are at their last day, they get dressed in these white outfits. They come out of these doorways and they stand around this big crystal. They all hold up their hands and show their flashing crystal in their hand is now red and flashing, because it's basically their last day. And then they are literally raised up into the air and vaporized. And so people believe that they're being renewed. Everybody's all cheering and acting as if it's such a great thing. You know, it makes me sick actually, because people are so desensitized and are so fooled into thinking that this reincarnation is real. They think that whatever they believe, that they just need to look within. They don't need the Bible. They don't need absolute truth. They just want to believe whatever they want to believe. So sadly, they are being deceived, and these people are literally, get taken up into the air and basically killed. And people are believing, and even in this movie, they're believing that they are being renewed and rebirthed and transformed into something else. But that is just not the case. And you can even see, right in your face, the black, red, and white New World Order color symbolism right there. Total New World Order stuff, New World Order propaganda going on here. Same as we've spoken many times of the Nazi, same as the Nazi colors, the black, white, and red, which to me comes right from the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right from the book of Revelation. You've got the white horse that appears, which with the bow and the crown, which to me is Nimrod, Antichrist, whatever you want to call him. The next is the red horse of war, and the next is the black horse of scarcity. So black, red, and white, same kind of theme being shown in this movie.
And all the actors were high Masons. If you take those early actors, Frank Sinatra, all of those that were involved in those movies, John Wayne, they were all 33-degree Freemasons. And if you follow it down through the line to this very day, most of the actors, I would say the great majority, if not all, of the major actors are all high Masons. All the singers, all of them.
How much is it? $987,000. Oh, what happened to the rest of it? What the hell are you doing counting it out here in front of everybody? Are you nuts?
Oh, you don't think I'm gonna let you get behind the wheel after you've been drinking, do you?
I'm gonna walk. You look for my daughter.
Yo, dry off, sweetheart. That's Ice Pick. He said the Haitian Zopound's about to do a rep. Let's move.
I'm asking you here, Wade. This could work out real good for me and Gene and Scotty.
Gene and Scotty never have to worry.
Yeah, you fired 8 on the rooftop, 1 in the men's room, and your second cartridge was expended at the playground. And you won't be getting it up with that gun you took off my man. Oh, but you see, like my weapon...
Major issues of Stephen Collins' pride over the death of Mr. Hayes say that Congressman Collins, quote, took advantage of this young girl, resulting in today's suicide.
Suicide.
So perfect. Amanda Beckett is single. And on the night of this party, a party I'll be attending, a party she'll be attending, it's all falling into place.
One on the couch.
I got left.
With your hands up. Going left, boss.
Closet clear.
Let me see your hands. Anyone else in here?
Coming around.
Anyone else in here? Kids in...
Works of high art
crafted in tribute to our beloved royal family. Victoria's bust, wrought in porcelain.
Classy.
Quite lifelike, wouldn't you say?
It's as if she were here.
Back in the country, don't you wish that USA? Back in the country where the roads still grow wild. Back in the country where you walk those country miles.
Put down your weapons!
Reprogram now?
Yes. But don't fill him with anything above level 3. I doubt if the human mind could take it.
I understand.
Look at us now. Busted up and everyone talking about hard rain. But we've learned, by the dust of them all, Bartertown's learned. Now when men get to fighting, it happens here. And it finishes here. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
As long as the contractionary British fiscal policy continues.
Well, I can see we don't need any time to get acclimated.
Pretty girl.
Oh, that's Rita, the office manager.
Beyond imagining. There's a passageway between our physical world of light, pleasure, and their spiritual world of madness and pain. A gate behind which the demons wait for the chance to take back what is theirs!
How do you want it? Can't be done at the house.
Come to think of it, we should talk about some money up front.
Oh, sure. And why don't I buy you a plane ticket right out of here while I'm at it? Oh, I know.
No offense taken.
Anyway, if she's going to be in anything, she should be in the center.
Sure, okay. But done. Talk it over. I have to take this call. Cynthia, you changed the fucking font on the promo.
You're forgetting the gray horse.
Crowbait.
You were looking at the thing in the wrong light.
I am looking at it in the light of God's eternal truth.
Your illness is putting you down in the dumps. You will soon find a good buyer for the ponies.
Oh, I have a tentative offer of $10.
It's 25 inches of reinforced granite masonry, is it not? Digging with the throat slitter, I expect this would take 3 to 6 months of continual effort, during which time several of our members will have been violently executed.
You heard that?
All right. I have before me a complaint on behalf of the residents of Hinckley.
Human! Come with us!
Shoot! Get away! I gotta...
If the question is survival, then Saint is the answer. It is, quite simply, the most sophisticated robot on planet Earth. Adaptable to steaming jungles and burning...
There's men inside! Geizig!
I must say the delight is mine, meeting so notable a recruit to this newest generation of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
League of what?
There have been other times when a danger upon the world required the services of singular individuals.
How very curious.
This museum is full of the curious.
Where you want it?
Shh. Let's make some fucking money here, people.
You with me, Jimmy?
The book says we may be through with the past, but the past ain't through with us.
It's not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
Doc, short of being dead, what the hell are you doing this for anyway?
Wad Up is my friend.
I don't want you to get hurt.
Don't worry about me, just worry about yourself. Think about your brother, I'll call you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Charlie is one of your old-fashioned bribe or bullets kind of sheriffs. He took a healthy bite out of whatever moved through this county. It was in here one night, back when Jimmy Herrera ran the place. Started over a basket of tortillas. Place. Started over a basket of tortillas.
No one in Whitechapel, no matter what their trade, could afford grapes. Obviously, they were given to her by the killer.
Inspector Abaddon is in charge.
give him all the assistance he requires.
Answer it!
Hello?
Chuck? Just a moment, please.
Can you believe this?
He wants to talk to the Turk.
That's you.
That's me?
That's you.
I'm the Turk.
Look at you.
This is the Turk.
Okay, listen, Chuck.
Think about your family. Stop thinking about yourself. Think about them. You don't want to leave them empty-handed. Ken Garver here.
I warn you, Holmes. If you pursue this matter... So, what the... Forgive the sleight of hand, Sir Charles. In the pursuit of criminals, one learns their devices. What is this mumbo-jumbo? The handshake and the ring, Watson, are archaic rituals preserved by the 33rd degree members of the secret order of Freemasons.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 19 men armed with box cutters, directed by a man on dialysis in a cave fortress halfway around the world using a satellite phone and a laptop, directed the most sophisticated penetration of the most heavily defended airspace in the world, overpowering the passengers and the military combat-trained pilots on 4 commercial aircraft before flying those planes wildly off course for over an hour without being molested by a single fighter interceptor. These 19 hijackers, devout religious fundamentalists who like to drink alcohol, snort cocaine, and live with pink-haired strippers, managed to knock down 3 buildings with 2 planes in New York, while in Washington, a pilot who couldn't handle a single-engine Cessna was able to fly a 757 in an 8,000-foot descending 270-degree corkscrew turn to come exactly level with the ground, hitting the Pentagon in the Budget Analyst Office where DoD staffers were working on the mystery of the $2.3 trillion that Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld had announced missing from the Pentagon's coffers in a press conference the day before, on September 10th, 2001. Luckily, the news anchors knew who did it within minutes.
Osama bin Laden.
The pundits knew within hours.
Osama bin Laden.
The administration knew within the day.
Terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbored them.
And the evidence literally fell into the FBI's lap.
That a hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site, if you can believe that.
But for some reason, a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists demanded an investigation into the greatest attack on American soil in history. That investigation was delayed, underfunded, set up to fail, a conflict of interest, and a cover-up from start to finish. It was based on testimony extracted through torture, the records of which were destroyed. It failed to mention the existence of WTC-7, Able Danger, P-TECH, Sibel Edmonds, OBL and the CIA, and the drills of hijacked aircraft being flown into buildings that were being simulated at the precise same times, and pinned blame on all the people responsible, although no one so much as lost it.
You wanted to know who I am, Zero Cool? Well, let me explain the New World Order. Governments and corporations need people like you and me. We are samurai, the keyboard cowboys, and all those other people out there who have no idea what's going on are the cattle. Moo. I need your help. You need my help. Let me help you earn your...
Well, Come, show me the smile.
No. Alright, so let's start with the word fox. Every letter in the alphabet has a value. So let's look at the letter F. Obviously, F is 6. Now O is 60, and X is 600. Flip the values over and you've got yourself a 600, a 60, and a 6. 666, the number of the beast. The beast being the devil. Now we got Fox News, Fox Sports, 20th Century Fox.
You must have been so worried in my absence.
Let me think about that. No.
On October 2nd, Tom Welling joins the cast of Lucifer.
I'm surprised it's taken you this long. I'd like to show you who I really am. I am the devil.
Oh my God.
Really? You have to bring him up now.
Hello, Earth. Welcome to the Hulubratory, where we invent the things that drive TV into the squishy, eager folds of your brain.
They killed Kenny.
You are correct, sir. And our latest silver bullet, Hulu Plus. Full seasons and full series runs of your favorite shows in your new favorite place everywhere. It's not just more TV, it's more than more to the power of plus. With a little sprig of mint. Hulu Plus.
That's hot.
An evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy.
But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them.
There's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix. Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
The God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them.
You are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them.
Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are now controlling the transmission. We control the horizontal and the vertical. We can delude you with 1,000 channels or expand one single image to crystal clarity and beyond. We can shape your vision to anything our imagination can conceive. We will control all that you see and hear. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the deepest inner mind to the outer limits.
You're about to witness a quantum connection with the human mind.
Be a part of the next evolution in motion pictures and experience Mind Gamers, being hailed as the first ever action film for the mind.
Spark it up.
This exclusive live event includes the cast and filmmakers joining today's top scientists as they reveal a new dimension in human consciousness.
Single unified field connecting everything.
Induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep.
Here's another example. So this woman, this was in 2012 or so, found this subliminal message quite by accident. Or was it an accident at all? Because I think it could be a higher spirit, a higher power in these kind of cases. But check this story out, it's fascinating.
This is a picture. This picture accidentally happened
because my daughter insisted on this new Facebook photo that I have to have. The photo that we were going to put on there was not going to be from this phone because I can't send any photos or transfer any of the information, pictures, text message, whatever. I can't send it to anything because I've reduced the service on this phone. So we were going to take it on another camera.
Okay.
So by accident, I pushed the button on this phone, not even thinking anything about it.
So you're holding the camera?
I'm
and you're taking a
holding
picture
the
of yourself.
camera so I can get good lighting. And by chance, I push the button. I end up getting this photo, which is a picture of the TV. Of course, we were watching the news. TV is roughly a 60-inch TV,
Okay.
so it's
Huge
it's
TV.
it's huge TV.
Okay.
But the wording is probably a good portion of the size of my head, anyways.
Okay.
And it's written backwards.
And what does it say?
Kill. Now, when I actually seen this photo, it was probably a week after I'd taken the photo. We weren't really expecting to take photos on here, so I didn't think to search through them or even look at it. So I was laying in bed one night thinking to go through the phone, anything that I don't want on there as far as photos or anything, just to delete it. And that's when I came across this one without realizing that I had taken it and noticed that I had caught subliminal messaging on the phone.
And how did you feel when you saw that?
I said, this is the crap that my kids and I are watching every day.
I mean, were you freaked out? Because like just
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
that picture,
Oh, yeah.
I'm very creeped out by it.
Oh yeah, I showed several people who said, yeah, right, how did you do that?
The possibilities would be the image came off of the phone somehow and was photoshopped. So
Can't.
I mean, like, why can't it?
Because I have my service reduced on this phone, so I can't send any text messages or receive any picture messages at this time. I haven't been able to do that for almost a year.
So there's no way for a photo to go onto or come off of that phone aside from clicking the button.
No, that's why we weren't going to do any of my Facebook photos on here. My regular camera, I can.
Okay.
This phone, I have no way of
And
transferring.
Can I see this phone?
Yeah, I have
Okay,
no
so
way of
there's-
transferring any of the information.
This is a Cricket phone, and it just has this is basics. I mean,
Yeah,
this
that's
is
a-
bare minimum.
yeah.
There's nothing.
Nothing.
Do you mind if I take the?
Go ahead.
I'm going to get a picture of this picture. Take the back off of this phone and show. There is taking the battery out. There is no SIM card. There's nothing. I mean, we got the sticker here. There's no SIM card. Here's a volume button right here, and there's no place for a card or anything like that. It's got an internal memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as that goes, this picture had to come from only this phone and no other technology.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about technology today is that anything is fakeable, almost, you know? And it's great that you have such a crappy phone. This is the only way
Yeah, it can't be faked.
to show that. I mean, that's amazing. That's
Yeah, like I said, the chances of it were probably like winning the Mega Million lottery that just
even just
happened this
catching
past
the
week.
photo.
Yeah, exactly.
But then just to have, I mean, like, so honestly, so lucky to have it on a device that can't do any of the stuff that most phones can
Yeah.
do. So what else could it be? Like, it can't be a faked photo. So it was on the television. What could that be on the television aside from subliminal messages?
A movie advertisement,
Okay.
commercial.
Why would it say kill? You know, that's something I could only see from a movie advertisement. However,
Yes, it's written backwards.
Yeah.
It's written backwards.
Exactly.
It's 100% subliminal messaging.
The human eye can see, it's debatable, but it can see between 28 and they say about 35 frames per second is what we can perceive. That's on a conscious level. Anything that's faster than that, anything flickering faster than that, our subconscious would pick up, but our conscious mind wouldn't even catch it. Televisions, like the networks, used to transmit everything at 24 frames per second. Then they jumped up to 30 frames per second. Now they're transmitting stuff at 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second. You get those TVs now, when you look at the bottom of a TV and it says 120 hertz HZ, that means that it is flashing 120 pictures per second. Now when the human eye only sees 28 to 35 frames per second,
Yes.
why do we need technology that's transmitting 60 and 120 frames per second?
Obviously, they don't want you to see everything you're actually watching. Just like taking this photo. There's no way I could have actually watched for this photo. And if you look, my back is actually to the TV.
Yeah, that's probably a 1 in 10 million shot.
Yes,
I can't.
yeah,
I've
definitely.
never seen anything like this. I mean, like,
Definitely.
and I've researched subliminal messages for, I mean, solid for like a year at least, and I had never seen anything like that before. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So you're gonna upgrade your service and let me share
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness.
I find it very telling that he used the word annihilation right there, because that's what antimatter does with matter. It annihilates, and that's what CERN is doing every single day. And not just CERN, but all of the places that are like that. It's a lot. Their end game seems to be finding dark matter and dark energy, which is not cool.
We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. They are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
I love how John Carpenter has the man of spirituality saying the words along with the man who's trying to get through the signal on the television. That is representative of how we think that there is no spirituality. We are all stuck in this superficial realm that we are prisoners of, systems that have been in place for a long, long time. The infiltration runs so deep, the conditioning runs so deep, we don't even know where it stops and where it starts. But I assure you, no matter what they do to us, they cannot take away our spirituality. That is within us all, and it's real. But a lot of us have gone ahead and gotten rid of spirituality thinking it's nonsense. Now's a good time to re-up. I think that there might be something deeper going on. Something that we sometimes tap into. Something that we know very deeply is going on. As for the elite humans, there are other masters that they're serving.
Projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance.
Now, John Carpenter felt he was making this movie as a reflection of the bad government of the 80s that he felt was, very capitalist and worried about the wrong things. I would like to suggest that he tapped into the collective consciousness, if you will, the original timeline before we were hijacked by interdimensional beings that have taken us over at every level of government and moved throughout time and space like it ain't nothing. I think we all know they're here. We all deeply feel it. But everyone says it's absurd. We've been programmed to. But they use the human elite to do their bidding, and they keep them in power. They keep them happy and rich if they play the game. They also keep them intergenerationally incestuous, and this causes a lack of emotion. It actually creates sociopaths when you are sexually abused as a young person, and that's what you know in your life, and that's what the elite do to each other. It's a form of trauma-based mind control, and it's been done throughout history, obviously. It also keeps, the money in the family keeps the blood blue, if you will.
You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion. The human power elite.
All right, so as we keep going, let me just go back to Wikipedia here and see where we can continue on here. Basically, so as the runners try to escape, they're being chased by these sandmen. So again, don't forget about this lotus flower. Don't forget about what we just spoke about, this carousel. We will come back to this carousel ritual, or what I believe this carousel ritual of renewal really stands for. So we'll come back to that later. But we see basically the two main characters, or the main character, Logan 5 and Francis 7, are both sandmen. After terminating a runner whose presence they were alerted during a carousel ritual, Logan finds an ankh among his possessions. So we'll get to that a little later on. Later that evening, he meets Jessica 6. So this is the other main character, Jessica 6, a young woman also wearing an ankh pendant. Logan takes the ankh to the computer, which tells him that it is a symbol for a secret group whose members help the runners find sanctuary, a mythical place where they will be safe to live out the rest of their lives. It points out that the Sandmen have lost 1,056 runners that way. Look, you can see almost good old 66 there. The 1 and 5 equals 6, and you got the other 6, so 66. The computer instructs Logan to find sanctuary and destroy it, a mission he has to keep secret from the other Sandmen of Deep Sleep, which code names the mission Assignment 333. So can you see this assignment 033-03? So really you've got the Masonic signature right there, the 33 and also the 3. Now what is also quite fascinating is that this symbolism that we're seeing really, I'll show you right now, the Masons, the 333 is a big part of Masonry. And so, I believe I've shown this article before, but this 333 is quite fascinating because it says, for example, in this article it says, when Adolf Hitler planned his suicide, he decided to shoot himself on April 30th, 1945 at precisely 3:30 p.m., thus setting up a 333, by which the deed was done. Now, I'm not really sure. Some people believe that he was still alive after that. I believe this was possibly the farce to make people believe he was dead, but whatever the case is, the fact that it was planned in this way for the 333 is no surprise. We know that Adolf Hitler was very, very high up in the Illuminati, in the occult. So he believed that this 333 would allow him to pass quickly through reincarnation, so through the reincarnation cycle, so he could come back to Earth as the real historic Antichrist. So you can see with this 333 points to the 666. So even down here it says, now you can understand how important it was to Adolf Hitler to arrange the timing of his death to form a 333. He wanted to attain the number of death, resurrection, and ascension so that he might come back more quickly in the reincarnation cycle to this time to be the real Antichrist. Okay, so that's what I believe this 333, completely stands for, and we're being shown this like in our faces here, right in this movie. This whole 333, they're calling this assignment 33, or basically 033-03, same kind of thing. So it then, by a procedure calls it retrogram, changes the color of Logan 5's life clock to a flashing red, making him technically and suddenly 4 years old. So in order to escape Carousel, Logan is now forced to become a runner. So even just talking about this whole Carousel thing, I really want to show you something else here from a website called jaysanalysis.com, and it talks about a little bit more about this movie, Logan's Run, our technocratic dystopia unveiled. And it says down here that the setting for Logan's Run is a technocratic utopian society situated in a self-contained biosphere dome based around a death cult that participates in a monthly ritual. So this happens every month, which is the Carousel, where all citizens are killed in a renewal ceremony reminiscent of Katy Perry's Super Bowl halftime show. So it makes reference to that. Convinced that renewal results in reincarnation, the youth are color-coded to determine their caste, with those reaching 30 considered aged and primed for sacrifice. So there you have it. They talk about this Carousel ritual. Basically, they are killed off, and this is exactly what Logan and Jessica 6 are trying to escape, and even what the runners are trying to escape. and it even talks about how hedonism rules, which is basically all for pleasure, as this pleasure-seeking synthetic society is run by a giant AI smartgrid, so artificial intelligence, technocratic society. This is what is being shown in this movie. So, you know, really, this is a lot of New World Order dystopian kind of themes that we're being shown again way back in the 70s. So as we get back to Wikipedia, now Logan is forced to become a runner because now his time clock has been forwarded by the computer. He meets Jessica and explains his situation. They meet with the underground group that leads them to the periphery of the city. Logan finds that the Ankh symbol is actually a key that unlocks an exit from the city. So let's talk about that Ankh just for a minute. If I can go and find what I was, or the article I was going to show you, here it is, for satanic symbols. The Ankh is definitely a satanic symbol, also known as the long life seal. While Christians try to say the Ankh is not a cross, make no mistake about it, the Ankh is indeed another rendering of a cross. Now even up here it says that a cross is pagan. It can be dated back to ancient Babylon and the worship of the sun gods Mithra and Tammuz, which is something that we have spoken about many times before. The fact that the cross was not used by Christians until the 4th century after Emperor Constantine, a pagan sun worshipper, had a vision of the cross in front of the sun. So again, the cross is definitely a pagan symbol. Yeshua died on an upright stake or a tree. He did not, or I believe was not crucified on or died on a cross. I believe that was a re-rendering of the Greek word storos, where they inserted the word kiro instead of what it should be. All right, so anyways, this symbol, the Ankh, originated in Egypt and symbolizes, again, reincarnation. There we go, yet again, reincarnation, the 333, the whole Buddhism or the whole renewal thing, rebirth, reincarnation, same kind of thing. All right, so Egyptians were pagans and worshipped many gods like the sun god Amun-Ra and pagan sun trinity Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The Ankh and the common cross, which were both used equally in ancient pagan sun worship. Okay, so you can see that the Ankh again has to do with reincarnation. It is a pagan cross symbol, similar to the other pagan cross, the sign of the sun god, but the Ankh is also stands for reincarnation and basically pagan nonsense. Okay, so same kind of thing that we are being shown yet again. Okay, so reincarnation, same theme here. Because the elites think they can cheat death, they think they want people to believe that we can live forever, but that is just not the case, and we will talk about that later on. So Logan gets taken to this underground group. They use that Ankh to get in there. All right, and so Logan finds the Ankh symbol is actually a key that unlocks an exit from the city. They come out into a frozen cave with Francis following. So this is the other guy, his partner, former partner, following closely behind. In the cave, they meet Box, a robot designed to capture food for the city from outside. Logan discovers to his horror that Box also captures escaped runners and freezes them. Before Box can freeze Logan and Jessica, they escape, causing the cave to collapse on the robot. Okay, so let's talk about that now as we go to this whole, what they saw inside. Sorry, I'm going a little backwards here, showing something. So basically, this is a scene inside this, basically they're on the outskirts now of this domed city. They're about to get out past the city, past the dome. And what I find quite fascinating is they go into this place that is basically full of ice all over the place. This is the robot Box that catches food for the city from outside the wall, from outside the dome. And he also is supposed to kill or freeze any runners who try to escape. But this is what I find fascinating, is that we are constantly being shown the true cosmology of our world in very, very cryptic ways. And yet again, I believe we're being shown the flat earth biblical cosmology. If you look at many flat earth maps, you'll see the ice wall. What's actually surrounding the earth, the flat earth circle, is the ice wall. Antarctica, in my opinion, is truly an ice wall. It is not what is being shown on the globe. It is the wall that surrounds the flat earth model. And so what I find fascinating is they're showing yet again, as they get to the edge, once they pass this ice, this snow and ice and this freezing cold area, they are outside. They are outside the dome now. So I believe they are cryptically showing us again the flat earth model. They come to this place of ice, and after they pass the place of ice, they are outside the dome. They are outside. Okay, so they're outside the system. It can no longer affect them anymore. So again, cryptically, I believe we're being shown the flat earth model because, again, the city, there's the dome above it. I believe, again, we're being shown the firmament in a very cryptic way. You can see all kinds of pyramidal, Illuminati symbolism right in the city, but this is basically a picture of the city from the movie. And again, it is enclosed in a dome, just like God's word says that he has put a firmament in the skies. Even Job talks about how the skies are a cast metal mirror, so nothing can penetrate it. All right, so it is a solid structure that God, Abba Yahweh, has made himself. So I really believe we are being shown the flat earth model yet again in these movies. All right, and I mean, that's just my personal opinion. You don't have to believe anything that I say. I would just encourage you to research these things for yourself. Now, as we keep going, once outside, Logan and Jessica notice their life clocks are no longer operational. They discover the remains of human civilization have become a wilderness. Okay, again, more predictive programming. Check it out what it says. They explore an old, seemingly abandoned city, which was once Washington, D.C. In the ruins of the United States Senate chamber, they discover an elderly man. His appearance is a shock to them since neither has seen anyone over the age of 30 because, again, they can only live to the age of 30. Once they get to the end of 30, they are basically deemed as their last day and they have to undergo the carousel ritual or the renewal/rebirth reincarnation ritual where actually they're just being killed and vaporized. So anyways, the old man explains what he remembers of what happened to humanity outside the city, and Logan realizes that sanctuary is a myth and has been all along. However, Francis has followed them and he and Logan fight. Logan fatally wounds Francis and he dies. He sees that Logan's life clock is now clear and assumes that Logan has renewed. Logan and Jessica persuade the old man to return to the city with them as proof that life exists outside the dome city. Leaving the man outside, the two enter and try to convince everyone that Carousel is a lie and unnecessary. The two are captured by other salmon and taken to the computer. The computer interrogates Logan about assignment 033-03 and asks if he completed his mission, but Logan insists there is no sanctuary. What he had found was old ruins exposed, an old man, and that the missing runners were all frozen. These answers are not accepted by the computer, even after scanning Logan's mind, and the computer overloads, causing the city system to fail violently and releases the exterior seals. Logan, Jessica, and the other citizens flee the ruined city. Once outside, the citizens see the old man, the first human they have met who is older than 30, proving that they can indeed live their lives much longer. So really it's showing complete programming that the people living inside these dome cities are programmed, they are fooled, they are being brainwashed by the elites, by this carousel death cult. They believe, or being led to believe, that they can only live up until 30 and then they have to be renewed. Basically, they're just being killed off. It's all about population control, the same kind of thing over and over again, war and a major cataclysm that has caused them to do population control and all this kind of stuff. So really the same kind of thing being shown over and over again. So let me just show you some more things that I noticed in this movie. So as we're going through there, we spoke about as they come out of the dome, after they come out of the ice, basically, to me, cryptically Antarctica, we see scenes of Washington, D.C. We see the Capitol dome totally overrun by weeds and trees and basically nature. We see even where the Lincoln Memorial is also overrun by weeds and overgrown everywhere. So really, this is showing a complete scenario for what is possibly coming, that one day Washington, D.C. will be no more. This is cryptically, or really in our faces, predictive programming for what the elites have for the future, that they're going to destroy this world and it's going to be very, very different. We even see Logan and Jessica wading through that pond that is in front of the obelisk, and so it is just hardly anything there. It's all like literally bulrushes and a swamp, and so that's really what's there. And so again, total predictive programming for what is coming. Here's actually that scene. It's not really a big picture, but here where it used to be like this, now it looks like this. Okay, so you got bulrushes and weeds all over the place. Of course, they just have to show the good old obelisk in your face there, totally showing the beast and Nimrod society. But you got Logan and Jessica wading through this swamp that is now in front of the Washington Monument when it used to look like this. Okay, so really major predictive programming going on for what is coming.
He said, "You have given us entree as in to eat. And he said multi-dimensional expansion. Just pointing that out. There are always many layers of meaning.
And in return, the per capita income of each of you here tonight has grown, and this year alone, by an average 39%.
That's a lot of already billions of dollars. But all of that monetary system is a part of their control over us. It has been always. I'll do a video about this soon, but there is a wonderful account of basically elongated skull having people who really own the money for the banking systems. It's pretty crazy.
And I've just received word that our forces have won a major victory. The underground terrorist network has been destroyed here on the West Coast. We are off crisis alert. The situation is normal again.
You still don't get it, do you, boys? There ain't no countries anymore. No more good guys. They're running the whole show. They own everything, the whole goddamn planet. They can do whatever they want. What's wrong with having it good for a change? Now, they're gonna let us have it good if we just help them. They're gonna leave us alone. Let us make some money. You can have a little taste of that good life, too. Now, I know you want it. Hell, everybody does.
You do it to your own kind.
What's the threat? We all sell out every day. Might as well be on the winning team.
This same guy plays the homeless man who turns off the TV because it hurts his head. But I feel like putting the same actor in both roles helps illustrate how we are all being duped. All humans are equally as unimportant to the infiltrators. Now, of course, John Carpenter wasn't right about everything. Obviously, this is an artistic interpretation. But sometimes humans say more truth than they realize they're even saying.
Carbon dioxide, fluorocarbons, and methane have increased since 1958. Earth is being acclimatized. They are turning our atmosphere into their atmosphere.
I think it's possible they don't even need an atmosphere. However, I do think that acclimatizing our planet would be a more accurate term than terraforming, but it means the same thing. Essentially, they're trying to make this place suitable for their living requirements. And I don't know exactly what those are, but I got a hunch they're dark matter and dark energy. Anyway, it's not as simple as how this movie turns out. You can't just turn the frequency off and the aliens suddenly are visible. So Rowdy Roddy Piper tweeted that They Live is a documentary. Yeah, I like that he said that. John Carpenter said it too. And the thing is, it definitely is. It's just on what level, we don't really know. But I guarantee it's a lot closer to the truth than John Carpenter himself even knows.
That's still with us. They Live is a documentary about what's going on now.
Indeed, Mr. Carpenter, indeed. But what is now? Are there many nows going on right now? No, now, everyone. Anyway, so originally I was going to end with showing you the most epic fight scene ever in a movie that happens because Rowdy Roddy Piper's character is trying to get his friend to look in the sunglasses that helps him see the truth, but his friend absolutely refuses to take a moment and look and just calls him crazy, and they literally fight for 10-15 minutes. But when I show that scene, I get blocked in several countries before it even finishes uploading. So go find the They Live fight scene and check it out. The fight scene is a metaphor because all the guy wants to do is get him to wear the glasses, but he refuses. It's just like trying to tell someone about the Mandela effect or trying to tell someone about Jesus or, reptilian shapeshifters or anything like that uncovers any kind of deep knowledge. That is like this fight scene. People will defend what they believe in, even if their ignorance is actually hurting them, and they won't see that. It is so frustrating that they don't want to hear it, and they want to remain in cognitive dissonance, and that's their free will to choose that. Anyway, so please find that fight scene since I can't show it, and watch it and while thinking of what it metaphorically represents, which is how hard it is to get people to even take a look at the possibility that they've been under a delusion their whole lives. I think it's correct to call the infiltrators aliens. I think it's correct to call them demons. I think it's correct to say that the infiltration itself is evil or is the devil. But we have been infiltrated, and knowing that changes everything. All of my research leads me back to this fact. We have been infiltrated, and it's something that confuses people from knowing their oneness with the divine simplicity. And don't misunderstand me, I'm not talking about something new age. I don't even use those foolish titles. All of the infiltration includes these masks of what's real. They've masked everything about our spirituality, everything about what we're capable of, everything about our oneness with the divine and each other. To keep ourselves separate from this is foolish. And without us coming to a consensus of who the enemy is, we're lost in the dark. We're leaving ourselves vulnerable. The enemy will present himself as the solution.
Godless sodomites.
We're here to talk about the end of the world.
And anybody who believes that I am a man obviously is an idiot.
She's a man.
He's lying! If you want to be a drag queen and your friends don't let you, you need new friends. Super pumped. I'm gonna walk the runway and I'm gonna vogue.
Virgin voguing, because he's been taking voguing classes with Gerard X. Reyes, who's fantastic. He's doing first time in drags at a ball.
For this cause, God gave them up unto vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient.
You see, I take these glasses off, she looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face.
Old man river, that old man river.
You know, you look like your head fell in the cheese dip back in 1957.
We are all shapeshifters. We are all lonely drifters. We've forgotten ours when we escape through the winking eyes and the secret handshakes. Disposable me, expendable you. Just take what you need and do what you do. You're taking me under. This heart has seen better days. You got my number, girl. There's no change in my ways. Over and over, you're on your own. Try to keep them fires burning. When the sun did rise, everybody was gone. You far from home, you were on your own. Shapeshifters, shapeshifters. There goes my alter ego. You know everyone that I know.
I'll tell you what's the worst part about television is the programming, the philosophy, okay? I mean, the manipulating of your mind, the philosophy, the mentality, the system of thinking, the ideology. That's what's wrong with television. That's what's wrong with movies. That's where they're really getting in your head. Take, for example, Walt Disney. Right? And many people that will preach against the TV, they'll preach against the movies, they'll preach against Hollywood because it's obvious that stuff is bad. But then they'll say, well, we watch Disney movies. And I've been to the home of preachers and Christians who would never watch TV or the movies, but yet they have the whole library of the Walt Disney movies. You know those white plastic cases? And they have them all lined up, and I mean, they have tons of them lined up, scores. I don't know how many there are, but there's hundreds of them. They have them lined up and lined up, and they have their kids watching those movies all day long. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to prove to you right now that those movies are wicked. Say, what? Disney movies? Come on, you're crazy. They're rated G. Well, let's see. First of all, did you know this? Did you know that Disney movies are filled with subliminal messages? Subliminal messages. Now, what are we talking about tonight? Sorcery. What are we talking about tonight? Getting inside your mind and messing with you, controlling your thought process by supernatural means or demonic means. Or hey, I'm going to tell you something. Disney movies are filled with subliminal messages. And you say, oh, that's a hoax. I've seen it with my own eyes. When I was a teenager, I had a friend of mine sit me down at his house and show me the subliminal messages in the Disney movies. They're filled with subliminal messages. Let me give you some examples. The Lion King, filled with subliminal messages. Okay, all throughout the movie, there are pornographic pictures hidden in the movie. Like you'll be watching the movie, and just for a few seconds, something filthy will come on. Like off to the side, there'll be some kind of a, reproductive anatomy will pop up, over here, and then over here. There's this one point where the lion, he kind of goes like this, and a cloud of dust comes up and just spells the word sex. And the word sex is put in the Lion King movie subliminally, literally hundreds of times. Hundreds of times the shapes on the screen will spell the word. And I've seen it. I mean, I had my friend sit me down at his house and pausing the movie, showing me the word sex popping up on the screen at different times because he knew where they were. And he would show me these things. Another one, and they all are filled with it. Aladdin is another one. In the movie Aladdin, there's a part in the movie where the guy, what's his name, Aladdin? There's a point in the movie where he tells Jasmine to take all her clothes off. But you don't even know it unless you know it's there. You listen to it, and he mumbles it kind of under his breath.
Leave me alone.
So how's our little bow doing? Come on. So how's our little bow doing? Come on. On good keepers, take on the love. On good keepers, take on the love.
And I mean, once you know it's there, you hear it just as clear as day. But you didn't know that it was there, you wouldn't hear it. And The Little Mermaid has a filthy picture drawn in the cover on the front of The Little Mermaid. And nobody would realize it until somebody shows you and says, look at this. And you look at it, whoa! And all throughout the movie there are scenes, I'm not even going to describe some of the scenes in The Little Mermaid where subliminal messages are coming on the screen. The other movie, Beauty and the Beast. There, a nude woman pops up a few times in the background. It's Beauty and the Beast. Filled with subliminal messages. Your kids are watching it and their mind is maybe not even seeing it, but it's going into their subconscious. Words flashing on the screen. over and over. sex, nudity, filth, there's all the smut is just coming on the screen. Oh, those movies are harmless. They're filled with subliminal messages. Who knows what your kids are being programmed? Oh, but you know what? I'm sure that it's only just the Disney movies. I'll guarantee you it's the rest of Hollywood probably doing the same thing. And these Disney movies, at first when I was a teenager and somebody showed me this, I thought it was just a couple movies, a couple scenes. But you know, as time has gone on, I've realized that virtually every Disney movie is packed with hundreds of subliminal messages to program the minds of your children. Okay, but then forget the subliminal message. Just the message of the Disney movies is perverted. Even if you just forget the subliminal message. I mean, forget what movies did we bring up? The Little Mermaid. You know, a half animal, half human being. And that's perverted in and of itself. All throughout the Bible, every false god is a half animal, half human being. They're constantly merging of animals and human beings. It's paganism. It's wicked. And yet every Disney movie is pretty much based on the merging of a human being with an animal. It's described in the Bible. And the movie The Little Mermaid, you know, she's topless the whole time, right? She's just wearing like a bikini top. How is that? Is that how you want your daughter to dress? Oh, but there's no cussing, there's no nudity. Do you want your daughter going around in a bikini top? Is that modest apparel? Is that what Jesus Christ would have you to wear, ladies? No. The movie's filled with Satanism, witchcraft. There's some, Ursula, some witch that's casting spells and using sorcery and demonism. Oh, pretty innocent, right? All of them are filled with it. In the movie Beauty and the Beast, the whole first half of the movie is these prostitutes in the town that are dressed just half naked, dancing around, you know, admiring this guy, the big, strong, handsome guy. But all these girls are dressed indecently. They're obscene in their gestures, subliminal messages, and then the whole movie is basically just exalting a certain physical standard of appearance. Beauty and the Beast is a movie about a woman who falls in love with an animal. And in the movie, they keep acting like, well, he's just ugly. He's not ugly, he's an animal. But there's a difference between being ugly and being a beast, being an animal. And if you've seen the cartoon, it's an animal. It's like a dog. It's like a big dog man or something. I mean, it's clearly an animal, and yet she falls in love with him while he's an animal. You know, only when she kisses an animal does he become a human being. Oh, wow. And you say, well, what's wrong with that? Read the Bible sometime.
Occultists believe that the phoenix is a symbol of Lucifer, who is cast down in flames and will rise again. It is also a symbol of order out of chaos. It is considered to be one of the main symbols for the Illuminati and the Antichrist.
torture me over mistakes I made over a decade ago.
So you're back in the game?
Yeah, they say this is the most complex machine that humanity has ever built.
And I want to, like as they said, thank everyone as we go forward. And with that, we'll say increment 42 has begun. All right?
Congrats.
All right. Here we go.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you all.
totally showing the New World Order going to destroy the old world so that they can bring in the new world. And we spoke about the Lincoln Memorial. We see them even looking at Abraham Lincoln all covered with weeds. And even Logan makes a comment as to what this must be what an old man looks like, because they've never seen an old man. They're wondering, why he looks like that. Even Jessica asks, why, where is all the people? Because they see everything destroyed, literally all the other buildings and homes. They see everything that is outside of their domed city all destroyed. The same kind of thing that we have seen in so many different movies like Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, how much people are enclosed in a wall. We even talked about that in the video on the show Colony. Everything outside the wall is destroyed. So they are showing us that they're going to destroy the world as we know it so that they can bring in the new world, or age number 5. That is what we're being shown like crazy. And then later on, they finally meet this old man outside, living in basically one of the Senate buildings of what was the former Washington, D.C. buildings, and they are fascinated with his gray hair. They are fascinated with his wrinkles. I believe even Jessica reaches out and wants to touch his wrinkles, and as she thought they were cracks in his skin, and they were all fascinated that people could live this long. They had no idea that this was even possible. So again, because they are totally being programmed to believe that they can only live till the age of 30, which is again a total lie. And something I also want to touch on just briefly, I don't like to talk about this too much, but really even women are really degraded in my opinion in this movie. They're really being made out to look like sex slaves. Basically, a lot of the women walk around dressed like this in the movie. So really, I know that many women in the 70s and for a while were very decent in their dress. Now, I'm not saying that women didn't dress very provocatively even in the 70s, but really, they're being shown that, that Logan at the beginning, he was this fancy cop, the Sandman, and he was able to summon, basically any woman at will. In fact, Jessica tells him many times in the movie that, oh, you can have whatever woman that you want. So basically, again, showing that this city or this life is all about, pleasure and hedonism, but really women to me are being made to look as playthings in this movie, and I find that very sad because that was not what women were created to be. Women were created to be a suitable partner for men, to be in a respectable way, and it's sad that so many of these movies and TV shows from so long ago are depicting women in this way, which is really sad because really women are very beautiful. They're the most, I believe, beautiful creations apart from man, that God has made, and we are to treat them with respect and, love them and respect them as men. And we as men are supposed to love and respect our women. But they try to make women into these playthings. It's exactly what Satan wants to do. He wants to degrade and dishonor women and make them out to just be like this, and this is not what it's about at all. So, I don't need to tell you how people like, celebrities like Beyonce or Katy Perry or Madonna or Lady Gaga, how they all dress. And interestingly enough, we know that in this day and age, many women want to dress in such a way that leave nothing to the imagination. And sadly, this movie, which depicts a dystopian lifestyle, this is what they depict. They've depicted this back in the 70s, and sure enough, here we are in this day and age in 2017, and many women pretty much dress maybe not as revealing as this, but really it totally is coming to that, because again, this is portraying the year 2274. So I can only imagine if we're around for that long, which I highly doubt, but we're probably going to see stuff like that. So anyways, moving on. Again, as we look at the poster, I believe, again, we're cryptically or in our faces even being shown many things. I believe, again, we're seeing, the firmament, above. We're seeing the, technocratic city that is being run by the elites, total beast system here under the firmament, being enclosed in this dome. We're seeing also a lot of stuff down here in this part of the logo, which we can look at that more closely. We can see, the renewal happening here, that as they're getting, again, they're floating up to be basically destroyed. They believe they're going to be renewed or reincarnated or rebirth, but that's just not happening. We're seeing the transhumanism, and actually they work on making people looking younger and face changes and all this kind of thing. We see all about pleasure here, men with many women and many partners. So a lot of sexual pleasures going on in this kind of movie. We see this big hand in a place called the arcade, shown basically, a transhumanism or the technocratic society with, of course, the gemstone in the middle. And to me, even the fact that they show the 5 fingers on the hand, to me, denoting the 5th age that is coming. We see, again, Logan calling out his sex slave as he's able to, by a radio, he can summon whatever woman that he wants who has put themselves in a position to be used as a slave. Then, of course, we see the technocratic society with Box, with the robot that is controlling everything. So really, so much is being shown in this movie. And, talking about this reincarnation, I believe that this whole carousel ritual is nothing but the Buddhism wheel of life. This is something similar in New Age teaching and Hinduism. But really, this represents the samsaric cycle of existence, and we can see that the Wheel of Life is a traditional representation of the life cycle, basically. And in this diagram, designed by Buddha himself, they claim, depicts an inner psychological cosmology that has had great influence throughout Asia. It is much like a map of the world or the periodic table of elements, but it is a map of an internal process and its external effects. Okay, so they say basically this is you can see how it basically looks like a carousel. They call this the cycle of life, or this wheel of life. And what is also quite interesting, and it says that down below here it says that sorry, I think I missed it here. Basically, it says the monster talks about the monster that holds the wheel. It says the wheel in the center of the painting is in the grasp of a frightful monster. This signifies that the entire process of cyclic existence is caught within transience. Everything in our type of life is characterized by impermanence. Whatever is built will fall down. Whatever and whoever come together will fall apart. But really, that's just utter nonsense to show that. Even this Dalai Lama says the fierce being holding the wheel symbolizes impermanence, which is why the being is a wrathful monster. Okay, so really, to me, this is nothing more than the devil. Okay, the devil wants to show himself in these pagan religions as he's the one that is in control. He doesn't want to show people that he has been defeated. Yeshua, Jesus has defeated him when he died for us, but the devil wants to still act as if he is in control of this world. You can see the third eye on this guy, the 3 eyes. You can even see these 5 skull faces above him, to me, again, denoting the 5th age that is coming. But really, this is the devil who wants to fool people into believing that the dragon, the serpent, that Satan is in control. But this is just a deception. And to me, this is all pointing to Daniel 7, as we've spoken about many times, that the 4th beast shall be a 4th kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. This, to me, right there, showing the New World Order, the beast system that is coming, the final kingdom on earth shall devour all the other kingdoms and trample it, break it in pieces, and basically crush society and do what it's going to do. But really, nobody is going to have new life. Nobody's going to be rebirthed or reincarnated, because that is all a lie. Scripture is clear. Hebrews 9 from verse 27 says, and it has been appointed for man to die once, and after that the judgment. So Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many. To those who eagerly wait for him, he will appear a second time apart from sin for salvation. Okay, so really we can see that this rebirth is just, and reincarnation and renewal is all just a lie. The real new birth comes by faith in Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. Even John 3 clearly talks about when Yeshua was speaking to Nicodemus, he said to him, most assuredly I say to you, unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. So we are only born again when we give our lives to Yeshua, when we put our faith in him, when we believe on his name, that he is the one that has died for us, he has shed his blood, he has become the perfect sacrifice for our sin. That is the only way for us to be renewed. Okay, all of this New World Order, technocratic society, being renewed, having reincarnation, coming back as something else, the rebirth, this is all pagan nonsense. This has nothing to do with the real truth. Many people like to say that, oh, you can believe what you want to believe, and I have my truth, you have your truth. But really, it doesn't really matter what any of us believe. What matters is what God God's word says, and what he says goes, and he has sent Yeshua Jesus to die for us so that he can take our punishment and so that we can have true renewal, true rebirth, or new birth through the Son of Abba Yahweh, through the Son of God. But that is only possible, again, through Yahweh. It is not possible any other way. And, what this movie says right at the beginning, the message is right there. It says sometime in the 23rd century, the survivors of war, so you can see that they're already putting in there a big, war's coming, a cataclysm, it's going to, survivors of war, overpopulation, and pollution, so good old climate change, good old depopulation agenda, so same kind of thing we're being shown, just as what the Georgia Guidestones say, to maintain a human population of 500 million in balance with nature, so they want to say that the world is too polluted, they want to say it's too overpopulated. The same thing we saw in The Thinning, where it talked about, again, overpopulation, and they talk again, survivors of war are living in a great dome city sealed away from the forgotten world outside. Here, in an ecologically balanced world, mankind lives only for pleasure, freed by the servo mechanisms which provide everything. There's just one catch. Life must end at 30 unless reborn in the fiery ritual of carousel. So this is the deception. Really, there is no technology that is going to save us. We're never going to have a utopian, perfect world until Yeshua comes. We're never going to have an balanced world unless we give our lives to Yeshua Jesus. So this is, again, the problem, reaction, solution. They're going to cause the war. They're going to cause some kind of crazy cataclysm. They're going to keep propagating to people through all these movies and propaganda that the world is overpopulated, that it's too polluted, we need to get it in balance with nature. They're going to do something that is going on. When I say they, I mean the establishment, the Luciferian establishment who believes all this nonsense. They are going to do their problem, reaction, solution. They are going to bring about their new world order through some kind of war, through some kind of cataclysm. I've shown many times before how even David Rockefeller has said many times that they need a big cataclysm to bring in their new world order. They need a big catastrophe to do that. So this is being shown in the movies over and over and over again. So really, this is nothing more than Mother Earth worship, Luciferian, pagan nonsense that is being shown to us over and over again. But always remember that the only one who can save you from all of this stuff that is going on in this world, because in my humble opinion, this world is getting worse and worse. I know many people in the church love to say that, oh, the world's going to get better, that, Yeshua, Jesus is going to come back to a perfect world, or we're just going to make it better. But no, that is just not the case. The world is getting worse and worse. The judgment of Abba Yahweh is coming to this world very soon. You need to put your trust in Yeshua Jesus right away. Now, many can say that I'm fear-mongering, but really that is not what I'm trying to do. I am telling you this because Abba Yahweh loves you. Yeshua Jesus loves you. He died for you, and he wants you in his kingdom. To warn people is not to scare them. To warn them is to love on them and to show them that the judgment is coming, and you need to get yourself ready for the fact that the end of this world is near, that Antichrist is coming, the deception is coming, the great delusion, and no technology or no solution that this world offers you will ever be enough or will ever even compare to the amazing salvation, eternal life that you can have with Yeshua Jesus. So put your trust in him, and again, as always, be aware of what is being shown to us in plain sight. God bless you.